Is the chairman of House Ways and Means, Trey Lamar. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? Got that deer hunting, got that deer hunting beard ready to go, don't you? So
it's football season, almost playoff time, and hunting season's coming up. So it's a good
very
time.
Good, very good. There's a multitude of things to talk about, but first of all, there was some brouhaha on the other side talking about the state's revenue. And some of the leftist media wanted to criticize our state's revenue one way or the other as far as, and I'm not really even sure where they were going on this, as far as passing legislation to give people back a little bit of their money. I know that you responded to that. You want to expand on it?
Well, just, I don't want to beat up on somebody. I've just kind of said my piece, but for those who didn't see it, it just when you write an article and you don't include all the facts, it's a pretty good sign that you're only concerned about your agenda or your opinion, and that's really not the point of good journalism. So that's where it is. And yes, they were criticizing the tax cut on our income tax cut, the tax on work that we did last year, and I just had to point out that the state is continuing to see record revenue come in, and that our sales and use tax collections are up $40 million in this quarter alone, the first quarter of this fiscal year. So, we are collecting approximately $1 billion more than we're spending right now, and we're spending $1 billion more than we were spending 3 years ago. And so, we are paying the bills. We're increasing the things in government that need to be increased, like our teacher salary increase that we did a couple years back. And those things cost money. So we're taking care of some things. We've got more work to do. But the point is, we are in great fiscal shape. And it was high time that we give some of the tax money back to the people who pay it, and that's the working people of the state.
It was heartening to know that the last month the revenues continued healthy after that little dip in August. But do you think we're on track, Chairman, for revisiting this for another stage, or are we going to wait till maybe another session before we do this?
Well, we've got a lot going on this session, Paul. You certainly know that. I think you've had Speaker Pro Tem White on many times, and he's echoed the same thing that I'll say, and that's the House has got to get organized this next session. We've got to elect a new speaker and new chairmen, and that takes time. And on top of that, we've got some big issues. But that said, the income tax cut, or the plan to hopefully eventually eliminate the income tax in the state of Mississippi, or the tax on work, as I like to call it, is always at the forefront of my mind. And so I'm going to be looking at it. Thankfully, the law that we passed last year requires us to revisit it in about 3 years. So we've got to revisit it in about 3 years, and I certainly plan on doing that then, if not before that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mentioned something a little bit earlier that people don't realize that governor's races have tremendous consequences for a state. We talked about Arkansas and also Louisiana. Louisiana's got a lot of laws with judges and people in powerful positions throughout the entire government of Louisiana, not only in the capital, but throughout the entire veins of the state of appointees from Democrat governors. It matters. We're 15 days away from an election to make a change or keep the governor we have in the state of Mississippi. And you look at it, I think we said 236 boards and commissions in our state that a governor in a first-year or four-year term has a chance to appoint. That's over 700 people in the state. And look, realistically, most, if not all of those 700 are going to reflect the liberalism of the party or the conservatism of the party. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no question. Leadership matters. Elections have consequences. All those things are true. And, depending how the state of Mississippi, the people of Mississippi decide to put in the governor's mansion for the next 4 years, will have real effects and real consequences on legislation that we try to pass in the legislature, and really will affect people's everyday lives.
Yeah. When you look at the top two or three things, Trey, that you think are going to be presenting themselves as far as the 2024 session, what do you think they are?
Well, kind of before I get to that, just a continuation of what I just said. I just like to encourage people to go vote. I mean, we're sitting here, week and a half, Paul, a little less than 2 weeks away from
15 days.
There you go, right at 2 weeks. And so, go vote. The people of Mississippi don't need to sit this one out. The stakes are too high. It's too important. And so just please exercise your right to go vote in 2 weeks.
Listen, anything else you want to mention here? We got a terrible audio on here, so I'm going to cut it a little bit short. But anything else that you'd like to mention here?
Well, just looking forward to the session. We've got a great lineup coming up this next session as far as a lot of things on tap. I know we got to fix PERS. We've got to continue to look at the crime problem in the state and continue to take care of our fiscal house. There's some other issues. I know school choice or parental choice is something that's been talked about, so we'll certainly look at that. And just a lot of hot issues out there that we need to discuss.
Is Medicaid expansion going to be one of those?
Well, I continue to hear that we're going to have conversations about it. You've got a governor's race right now, at least on one side, who's continuing to make that an issue. So I certainly anticipate bills being filed this next session. And look, whatever we can do to help improve health care in the state, I'm in favor of looking at that. I think Speaker Pro Tem White has said that he is in favor of looking at it. And so we'll do that. And we're not going to do anything that's going to put the taxpayers of this state in jeopardy, but whatever is good for the people of the state is worth at least a conversation. So that's where I'm at on it.
Trey, it appears that most of the hospitals, it appears that they are satisfied or at least placated with the proposal that the governor put forth to help the hospitals. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm excited about it. I appreciate the governor and his team for working on it, but it's like most plans, the devil's in the details, and I haven't seen the details yet. I do understand it's supposed to be more money back to our hospitals, but I'll tell you, I'm interested in how that's going to affect, not just the big boys that sit on Lakeland Drive. I mean, those guys serve a great purpose, but so do all the small community hospitals, the places where I'm from as well. And so I want to see how that plan is going to affect the community hospitals of the state, and hopefully it'll be positive.
Yeah. Trey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it very, very much. I appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yeah, glad to do it, Paul. Thank